Hello. I suppose what I am going to be doing right now is releasing bodily fluids into the wind. In ladylike terms, that's spitting into the wind. I suppose really I should be using stronger language because this is a dreadful situation, but you know, well, being ladylike is what my parents sent me to boarding school to learn about. Okay, now, this is the story of one Joseph Kelly. And I am comparing newspapers again, but in this case, not to show you how differently they approach a subject, but to show you how much the same they do, and it's really, really disturbing. So I'll get on with that, but not before I remind you that I am Grannyopteryx. I am on YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and Minds. And if I disappear from YouTube because they've shut me down, then you can look for me on Rumble or BitChute or Minds or whatever takes your fancy, and I'll be there. People keep asking me to join Odysee. You know, it's really awkward uploading to all these different platforms. And I started with Odysee. I'm not sure I'll go up to that. I might do. It depends. Give me a break. It takes hours to do this sort of stuff anyway. Right, let's get on with this. You see, there is a chap called Joseph Kelly, and this is how the BBC frames it. Captain Sir Tom Moore, not Joseph Kelly, Captain Sir Tom Moore. This was Sir Tom was a national hero during lockdown. Now, he was a very nice man. He wanted to raise money for the NHS, and he got millions donated simply by being 99 years old and walking around his garden. But he did 100 laps around his garden just before his 100th birthday. Everybody admired him very much. He was a truly admirable person. There were many truly admirable people, by the way. I'm not suggesting that Sir Tom's exploits were in any way diminished, but the supermarket cashier who stayed at her post before vaccinations, before proper, you know, like they've got these perspex windows up in front of the tills now, before any of that stuff. They were still there checking out people's groceries. They were also truly admirable. The nurses who went in, they were truly admirable. You know, there were a lot of truly admirable people. The media got hold of Sir Tom. He did a marvellous job, but he was doing his best, as were many other people. But they focused in on him like the press focused in on Greta Thunberg. I don't say that Thunberg is anything like as admirable as Tom, by the way. I'm just talking about the way the press gets hold of certain things and turns them into, you know, sculpts them into images which give us a focus. So Tom Moore's exploits were a focus for all the rest of us who were sat at home wondering how we were going to get through this plague that had broken about our ears. And he was a good focus. Don't get me wrong on that. Okay, so here we have the BBC's take on this story about Joseph Kelly. A man has been found guilty of posting a grossly offensive tweet about the death of fundraising hero Captain Sir Tom Moore. So this fellow, Joseph Kelly, I don't know whether he was drunk at the time or not, or just a little bit inebriated with himself, but he said some pretty nasty things about somebody who had recently died. You know, even nasty people, you don't say nasty things about them just after they've died, if only out of respect for their relatives. So what he did was, yeah, it was grossly offensive. That should not be against the law. Joseph Kelly from Castlemilk, Glasgow, has denied the disrespectful nature of the message. Well, he shouldn't have done that because it's true, it was offensive. And then it said, but then it goes straight on to what Sir Tom did. He raised £32 million for the NHS after he walked 100 laps of his garden before his 100th birthday. That's amazing. But that's not what we should be talking about. What we should be talking about is that Joseph Kelly was offensive online. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't call for the persecution or the death of anyone. He just spoke about an Englishman, and it's obvious that somewhere at the back of his mind he has a hatred of English people. Now, that is not unusual in Scotland, I'm afraid. There is a deep-seated hatred of English people in Scotland. Not all Scots, obviously, but there is a proportion of Scots who truly hate the English. Now, there may be good historical reasons for that. That's not what I'm discussing either. What I am saying is that this guy, Kelly, was reflecting that. That's all. And it's quite possible that the Scots are getting all whipped up, or the Scottish courts are getting all whipped up over this, because it exposes an aspect of Scottish nature, a part of some of Scottish people have, that that they don't like exposed, that they like to keep hidden. And it doesn't fool me. I wonder how many people it actually does fool. Anyway, this is what Sheriff Cotton told Lanark Sheriff Court. He said, Kelly's gratuitous insult about Sir Tom was made with only offence in mind. Due respect to Sheriff Cotton, but how does he know that? Is he a mind reader? Well, obviously he believes he is, because he is prosecuting somebody on the basis of his interpretation. I think it was probably more silliness than only offence, just a mad moment. I don't think I like Joseph Kelly. I didn't like what he said. But there is no law that stops you from being an idiot. Everybody has idiotic moments and says dumb things sometime in their life. So somebody said she felt very hurt by that quote here. Well, yeah, all right. Now, that was how the BBC framed it. The Mail Online framed it this way. Celtic fan will stand trial over grossly offensive tweet that said, some grossly offensive things. But then, do you see, they went on to Sir Tom Moore, and then they say he died aged 100, you know, which we all give credit to people who make it to that sort of an age anyway. So the whole thing is, the focus is on Sir Tom, but it shouldn't be on Sir Tom. Neither the BBC nor the Mail are saying, why are people being prosecuted for being offensive? And this is sort of interesting. This is how the Mail has shown the two people involved. The Celtic fan there in a mad Irish costume and looking a bit nutty, and then dignified Sir Tom standing in front of his walking frame. How they manipulate the way you look at things. Look, this guy has as much right to be nutty and wear weird Irish costume, leprechaun costumes, as Sir Tom has to be dignified and honourable. And this is how the Daily Record has it. Scott posted only, I'm not going to say what he posted, after Captain Tom death. A man has been convicted of posting a grossly offensive tweet over the death of Captain Sir Tom Moore. Joseph Kelly was arrested after the message appeared on social media following the fundraiser's death. He admitted posting posting what he posted, but denied breaching communication laws, and he was found guilty by Sheriff Adrian Cottam. Shame on you, Sheriff Cottam. One more nail in the coffin of free speech. And that's very precious, and far more precious than this storm in a teacup where the Scots have decided to sacrifice, to make a sacrificial lamb to save their own blushes, probably. It's a complete disgrace. But what's even more of a disgrace is that I haven't found any newspapers saying that. I mean, there may be some, but the main papers here, everything I've looked at, it's always been Sir Tom, Sir Tom, Sir Tom, this is a nasty man, Mr. Kelly. This Mr. Kelly is a nasty man. That's it. Nothing to do with the idea that Kelly was saying a dumb thing, a stupid thing, but it should not have been an illegal thing. And quite frankly, the Scottish government is getting more and more dictatorial, and nobody seems that concerned about it. Very disappointing. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbow with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.